Tobago Thursdays continue here on the Now as October is packed with activities. On the 16th, we observed World Food Day, and next Wednesday and Thursday, the Shore Park Food Hub comes alive for the annual World Food Day celebrations. To tell us more about it, no stranger to the Now, Dr. Paul Crooks joins us in his capacity in the Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development attached to the THA. Dr. Crooks, good morning and welcome to the Now.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Always delightful because it's always insightful, and with a theme that says food for all, the right to foods for a better life and better future. I imagine that the event will highlight foods that are good for us and foods that we can actually grow ourselves. Tell me a little bit about how we're going to explore that theme, Dr. Crooks.
Well, the Tobago House of Assembly, in particular, the Division of Food Security, throughout the period around World Food Day, we do a variety of different events. So inclusive of that very grand exhibition next Wednesday and Thursday at the Shore Park Food Hub, that's the 16th and 17th of October, we have a variety of events all around. We are looking at increasing food production on the island, and we're doing that through many different methods. For example, as part of this World Food Day series of events, we have a number of different seminars that aim to train producers, train farmers, train people in home gardening to not only increase food production at their level, whatever their level may be. So we meet them at their level, and also how to utilize or best utilize local products, as you mentioned. So the theme of this year's World Food Day is not the Division of Food Security that comes up with it, right? The World Food Day is globally recognized, and it's an initiative of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN. And that theme this year, Right to Foods for a Better Life and a Better Future, really emphasizes that everyone should have food. This is not something that should be optional. Everyone should have access to safe, nutritious food. And so our point is that we have to eliminate any discrimination that may occur, so that regardless of religion or gender or race, that you have access to food regardless of the money in your bank account, of the type of car you drive, the type of home that you own. You must have access to safe and nutritious food. So our objective with World Food Day activities is to increase the food production and also to increase that networking between producers and persons who are doing production, processing, and so on, to bring them all together in greater networks to allow that collaboration and cohesion so that everyone has access to food that is affordable and nutritious.
Let's focus a little bit on that nutritious part of things, because as we just heard with Dr. Faith B. Israel, in terms of intentions to battle cardiovascular diseases, will we see specific types of foods being highlighted, or are we talking about your regular garden, perhaps, in that approach being strategic, that is?
Well, we as the division try to push production of more nutritious foods, but really, unfortunately, in many cases, we see that the market still demands a certain way of eating. So we look at adjusting the school feeding program, which is something that hopefully we can get going. Children are growing up and they are really liking fried food. I mean, if you remember back in our days when people fighting for school feeding is because it's a hot dog or because it's bus up shut or fried chicken. And that means that we generally have lost a desire, or maybe never really had much of a desire, to eat local foods. So there's a challenge to our producers to really ensure that, yeah, we're growing breadfruit. How do we make sure that the next generation and the generation after that continue to eat breadfruit as part of their normal diet? We have mangoes in Tobago, for sure, that waste every year, that just fall onto the ground. How do we best utilize those mangoes so that, one, it returns to food production and is not wasted, but also that we ensure that...
You continue.
So Yeah, so also to ensure that the mangoes are part of our normal diet. So you have it there, you take it for granted, but how do we ensure that people don't take it for granted? How do we ensure that people are actively consuming these products? So that's really what we want to push here. We want to produce local foods, and we want to ensure that people consume them as well.
Local healthy foods. I imagine that will be one of the topics covered in some of the seminars that will be on that calendar of events. So can we go into perhaps some of those topics or, overarching views that we're going to explore in those seminars, Dr. Crooks?
Okay, yeah, well, we are covering a variety of topics. So I'll just highlight three for you. So, for example, at this year's World Food Day and as part of our seminar series, we plan to push fertigation and irrigation systems. So, not only are we looking at more advanced methods for irrigation, not just using the hose at the root of the plant, but how do you ensure that you use water strategically so you give plants enough water, but also that you actually increase your production through the use of appropriate fertilizers. So as part of the World Food Day display, we will be actually demonstrating fertigation and irrigation systems. And throughout the rest of the year, the division even has expos and so on that will be coming up, where we plan to showcase water conservation techniques, water harvesting techniques, and so on, that really should empower the farmer and the producer to be able to produce more with less. So that's one example. Yesterday, we had a home gardening training program on the management and growth of breadfruit. So again, people in Tobago have a lot of trees in their backyard. We are all producing food. If you're a homeowner or you have land, you're producing food, but what happens to that food? So yesterday with that breadfruit training exercise, the idea was to show home gardeners, persons who have breadfruit trees, how do you utilize this commodity so that you preserve it and so that you enjoy it. And then not next week, the 26th of October, we have the Neglected Infectious Disease Seminar, which is a seminar I would be doing unless I'm on jury service. Then someone else will have to do it for me. But on that date, I should be talking about some of the diseases that are occurring in livestock currently. For example, a disease called leptospirosis that we don't commonly see. So that's the idea. We have those seminars across a variety of different topics that appeal to our producers, that appeal to our home gardeners, and that we can work with them to train them to produce more and to use less.
Fantastic initiatives that I'm sure somebody looking on wants to be a part of. So will we have to register? Do we have hybrid options? How do we connect?
Okay, so pay attention to the Division of Food Security's Facebook page. So next week, Wednesday and Thursday, we're already all up in terms of you are a producer, a vendor. We already have all of that all booked out. So unfortunately, you would have missed the registration, but we're still inviting members of the public to attend. We are open next week, Wednesday and Thursday, on each day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. We have a variety of activities and attractions, but regarding all of the other events, you should visit the Division of Food Security's Facebook page. You'll also see marketing up all around the island. There's a calendar of events that showcases not only this event, but of course we have the Lamb Fest upcoming. I'll come back on to talk about that, I'm sure, as well as a Women in Agriculture event, as well as a horticulture market. There's a lot going on. So for right now, we're focusing on the seminars that are happening right around now, as well as the grand exhibition. But for any other information, visit the Division of Food Security's Facebook page.
Or tune into the Now, where we will check in with Dr. Crooks again to find out how successful these events have been, and look forward to the ones that are taking us even into the month of December, the very last being the chocolates and mud. And I'm looking forward to getting some insights on. We, of course, are getting ready to head over to the Shore Park complex for the 6th and 7th in terms of the horticulture market as well. But for now, the 16th and 17th of October, the two-day grand exhibition is what we're focused on. And we thank you ever so kindly, Dr. Crooks, for giving us all the insights on why we, or how we can be a part of making the right to foods and a better life and a better future part of our future as well. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
We are absolutely adding it to our calendar, and we have more events that you can add to your calendar too. So stick around here on The Now. We'll be back after these messages.